Let's talk about somebody like you got AJ Griffin over
Yeah,
here.
that's who I'm waiting for.
You waiting for AJ?
Yeah.
That's what it is. I was like,
I was just okay. Ryan's been quiet. Now
quiet,
AJ's
like, okay, he woke up with AJ. Okay.
AJ. Okay.
Yeah, man. I'm just because I'm here listening to Jake because I want to learn about all these different prospects. I watch him on TV, in the college games and all that. But I want to get that in-depth analysis. But I've been looking at AJ Griffin because I'm like, look, at least in my opinion, anyway, I was like, I feel like what the Knicks need right now is someone who's dynamic. Because I feel like there's nobody on the Knicks who's really dynamic like that, which is why I was looking towards Jaden Ivey.
Right.
I wish to God that we could go up for Paolo Banchero. Like that's my number one guy. But I know that's not happening.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Yeah, but
Nasty.
I'm like, but I'm like, okay, if the Knicks can't get neither one of those guys, I'm thinking like, okay, at 11, I want to go with somebody who can spread the floor and shoot. And I watched Griffin at Duke, and I'm like, this guy can really shoot the rock. So I was just waiting for the AJ Griffin analysis. That's why I'm kind of hyped about this.
Yeah, so I mean, AJ was the first guy I wrote about at Cerebro. Listen, we talk about spacing the floor and keeping the defense honest, spreading out defenders. Like, look no further. Absolute ratchet. Like, he is a ridiculous shooter. It's a little unorthodox. Has that wide base. It looks like a little catapulty. But he doesn't miss. Like, he all year long. So AJ's interesting because coming into as a junior, I first saw him when he was a junior. He played with RJ Davis, point guard at North Carolina. They played on the same high school team, and AJ was on the ball, super heavy, like shot creator, pull up threes, stocks and everything, like ridiculous. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is like when I first started taking the scouting stuff seriously. Like, oh my God, I can't believe this kid. Like he's 6'7", he's he's jacked, he's taking pull-ups, like this kid's crazy. Like I completely ignored the fact that he never blew by his defender once, but and was slow as shit. But like he was raining threes, and then he kind of gets hurt. It's COVID. We don't really see him. We're seeing Paulo play a little bit in high school. We're seeing Chet play here and there. We're seeing Jabari play, and AJ's kind of just like, it's like, oh, what's AJ doing? Like, we're gonna see AJ. I'll never forget the first time I saw him was like he has an afro, like he grew out his hair, like a completely different hairdo, and is in like a run in Miami, and I'm like analyzing this run like it's like actual game film. I'm like, what does he look like? What does he look like? But he was that level of prospect, right? Like we were, people who follow grassroots, like we were incredibly excited about him, like top 3, maybe even people had him 1 in that class. And then he kind of like, he didn't fall off. Like we just didn't see him. COVID and injuries. Then he gets a Duke and he gets hurt. He didn't really play a lot in their first couple games. And then slowly but surely, like he's getting in the game, 4 threes, 3 threes, 3 threes again. And I think about like December, he started really catching on. Like at one point, ESPN had a mock 30th, and I'm just like, that's crazy. Like, it's just not happening. And he just doesn't miss. It's like no way around it. He's probably been in the mid 40s for the entire year. I
believe it.
Everyone kind of was expecting that to come back down to earth. Did not come back down to earth. So if you're looking for someone who's going to space the floor from day one and just shoot the cover off the ball, like he's your guy. I do have concerns with the rest of it because like he's slow, like he's very slow. And his dribbling is not great either. So if you're looking for someone who even someone like a Johnny Davis, who's going to offer complimentary creation, like AJ is not going to do that. He's going to space the floor. And it's when I wrote is that there are ways to extract this from AJ. Like when he gets downhill, he's very effective because he's really strong. He's like swole upper body and has great touch around the rim. And he makes these really tough, contested, weird, short, mid-range shots when he gets there. But it's not like a consistent avenue of offense. Like it's just like him. It's him like consistently. He's making them, but like it's kind of you have to cater to him a little bit. Like you're gonna have to run him off staggers. You're gonna run him off pin downs. Like I think why I'm optimistic for him is that the closeouts are going to be so reckless because you can't let him shoot. Like you cannot let him shoot. So whether it's a typical swing pass or you're running him off some shoot like an elevator or pin down, or he's like Duke started running off these curls late in the season, and it felt like every time they're getting a bucket because you had no choice. You had to trail. Like you had to go over top. So then he would kind of catch the ball against these slow foot bigs who were like in drop, but they were already towards the level of the screen because the screens were happening so high. And then he's getting downhill, dipping his shoulder and finishing at the rim. So like there are ways to get around his creation warts. They just are very contextual and require you to get a little creative, Mr. Thibodeau. But like, so if you're gonna space him, like you can space him and you'll get fine results because he's going to shoot the three ridiculously well, and he'll attack closeout for a 1-2 drill pull up. He'll maybe attack and get all the way to the rim. But I feel like you're best leveraging him by like how Miami uses their shooters, where you're just like chasing and chasing and chasing. Like I trust that AJ can knock down any 3-pointer with any difficulty. Like while what I noted in the piece is that like while a lot of he plays through like if you're going to sort it by like play types, it's spot ups. Like a lot of them are spot ups, but they're difficult attempts. Like he's catching, jabbing 2 times and then rising up. He's like relocating, shooting on the move with the guy in his face. Like he is a high difficulty shooter. So yeah, go ahead. Ask the question.
So is there a one-on-one potential because he's a because he can like make these kind of difficult shots?
I kind of get what you're like saying. The only problem is like he can't get north-south at all. So like if he's one-on-one, like he'll run into trouble just getting in the mid-range area. Like it's not just he struggles to get separation, like he'll struggle to get downhill against the defender from a standstill. Where like there were possessions, it was hilarious. Like he would try to get downhill, that you get walled off, you pop back out, like yank back to like maybe try to get downhill again, and he's just like, fuck this, like I'm pulling up, and then he would just like, pull up and hit it, and like he would hit a pull up 3. So that's what I'm saying. Like I think I misspoke when I said like it's not consistent avenue of offense. I would say it's not a consistent avenue of creation, right? Like he's gonna score, but it's like AJ's gonna do AJ. It's like gonna be in a vacuum. He's gonna space the floor. He's gonna attack closeouts. He's gonna stretch the defense. If you don't prioritize him, he's gonna stretch the defense because they're so worried about him, and he'll attack closeouts that way. But I think the way to get the most value out of him is to like totally leverage it and like loop him into as a part of your offense. Like he's not your typical, like he can be, but I think it would be best optimized if like you would make him a constant focal point of your offense, like from as a shooter, not as a handler.
If you're going to draft him, he's 18, right? So if you're going to draft him, he's going to spend at least a full season in the G League. I mean, he's going to, especially he's playing for Thibodeau. So he's going to spend at least one full season in the G League and then see what he can develop. Right now, he's very young. His body is NBA level. I mean, he's 220 pounds of muscle, man. But like, I agree with Jake. There's a lot of things that he probably didn't appear to be able to do this year that he might be able to do once he gets developed. And Tibbs is very familiar with him, having, his father was assistant coach under him for a while. So they know each other very well. And so it would be a guy that they'd be keeping an eye on, and they'd put him in the G League, I think, for this first season and let him develop. Maybe by the time he's 20, he'll be ready to come up and play. But right now, he's really raw, and I would not expect him to really be on the NBA court right away. I mean, he's got the talent, but to me, he's a long-term play. He's a guy you're going to be patient with.
More so on the defensive end, to me, from what I've seen. It's like I feel like offensively, he can play today. Defensively, I am horrified. Like I am not putting him in before Grimes at all.
No, oh, hell no. He's not ready. He's not ready for that. No.
Yeah.
I was just looking at him more as a, stretch the floor type of player, because I feel like the Knicks do need more of those type of players that will stretch the floor. That's the only way I was really looking at him. But I do understand like his other flaws. But like Ross said earlier, no player coming in is going to be perfect. Every player is going to have their flaws. But I just like the fact that he can really stretch the floor, and I feel like the Knicks need more of those players that can stretch the floor, that can allow the other guys to operate, on offense, like RJ Barrett, etc.
Right. Yeah.
I agree. No, I agree.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I do. I mean, I do think he can play from day one. I'm not saying there's not going to be learning curve, like a big learning curve, but he's NBA skill that's going to get you on the floor. And it's going to be like, if AJ Griffin doesn't shoot at a high level in the NBA, like I don't know, man. Like then I just like
Thibodeau's the coach, right? Wait. No, let's take it. Thibodeau's your coach. You got an 18-year-old player. Okay, and you just said he needs to work on his defense. Are you kidding me?
If he was in Memphis, he would start.
Yeah, right. But this ain't Memphis, baby. No,
he was in Memphis. He would let him go. Tibbs, like with Grimes being a two-way player, he is. Yeah, he has to play a little bit of defense, and I don't know. When I watch him and I watch Evan Fournier on defensive end, I'm thinking, man, Evan Fournier might play better defense than he does.
Yeah, but and not only that, Evan Fournier got he got the Joker card. He's a veteran. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
this kid's a rookie. So,
but his shooting on the offensive end, though, AJ Griffin shooting is like, holy crap.
No, he's a tremendous shooter. I saw some creators talking about his stance because it's too wide. No, he hits that shot, man. That's his shot. He can shoot the rock. But I'm just saying, the overall game, he got to be more than that. You can't just come out and spot up in 1 second in the NBA and think you're going to just play. Not with Thibodeau.
Specifically. On the Knicks specifically.
No, you're not going to do that. So you got to be able to play some defense. You got to be able to move off the ball. There's a lot of things. And like I said, I believe he will have all of that ability. He's just going to need to spend a year in the G League and develop it. He's going to, Diop down there, he's going to have to work with Diop for a year.
Man, are you thinking of having him in the G League and drafted at 8? No, they might.
Yeah, man. What you think?
No, they wouldn't. Because Obi would have been in the. I don't know.
Yeah. Obi was 8, and what did he get? 8 minutes a game? Come on, man.
Yeah, but he wasn't in the G League, is what I'm saying.
No,
but you know what?
But he was. Yeah, but he was backing up 8 minutes a game. Yeah. This kid is not going to play in front of Grimes. They better. I mean, he's not. And if you don't get rid of Fournier, he really ain't going to see no time.
We really have to move some pieces. On the depth chart, we got Grimes, we got RJ. We got even quickly be playing some shooting guards sometime.
And Cam is still
I'm about to say Cam Reddish.
What do you think of Deuce McBride?
What do I think of Deuce McBride? I think he should have been. I think he should be handed the keys to the team like this year.
I personally, I mean, I don't know. It's probably maybe hot now, but like when we in the draft, I was like, everyone was all excited about Grimes. I'm like, no, we got Deuce. Like, that's who I'm excited about.
Dude, those are the two players I said the Knicks were going to draft: Deuce and Grimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Grimes is a very Thibodeau player. I worry personally. Like, this is just me. I don't. There might be a lot of people out there that are higher on Grimes. I do worry that the Grimes player type, and like this is honestly why I like AJ a lot, but I'm a little bit worried about like the ultimate ceiling. Like he's going to be an NBA player, a valuable one at that. Grimes. I mean, I think Grimes is more worrying as a prospect. He was at least than AJ with the off the bounce stuff. Like I just don't trust it.
You think so? But he was a big time rebounder at from the 2 guard spot at Houston, and his defense is stellar. That's
his defense is better. His defense is better than AJ's.
His defense was stellar. I mean, it's not even close. That's nice.
Yeah, his defense is better, but I trust AJ much more on offense. Like he's gonna shoot the ball better.
Yeah, I just his age coming to play under Thibodeau, it's just going to be it's going to be an uphill grind for him to get minutes his rookie year. It really is. I think he's going to spend time in the G League. I mean, I think he is, because that's how Tibbs does it. I mean, like you said, if he was in Memphis, he might be the 6th man. I don't know, but he's in New York, so
absolutely.
I'm good on Grimes, man. He's kind of grown on me. I don't expect him to have I don't expect him to be Klay Thompson. But I don't expect him to. Like I feel like he's a guy wherever he is in the NBA, he's going to contribute, and he's going to hit. He's going to hit threes, and he's going to play defense. And as long as he can do both of those things at a high clip, like he's going to have a job.
I think.
I think Grimes is going to be fine no matter where he is.
I mean, to me, Grimes like your prototypical 3-and-D wing. Like he's like a prototypical 3-D wing. Like you're not going to expect him to score, you're not going to expect him to give you 20 points a game, but he's going to give you a solid, if he's getting starters minutes, probably hit, maybe 3 or 4 threes and play solid defense.
Yeah. And I think he can get you 15 to 18 a game if you're giving him 30 minutes. I think he could do that. I like Grimes, but I think Grimes is better than people think. I really think he's going to be better than people think. He looks awkward. He looks funny out there to me, but he could shoot the rock and he can play defense. And he's got a high IQ. And he's tough. He gets he puts his nose in there to get rebounds. I like this kid.
Well, you know what? I've heard about AJ Griffin, right? And his defense being bad. You talk about his defense. I looked at his defense and I'm just like, he makes me scared. Like if he fell to us and we picked him, I'd be really excited that we have a knockdown shooter. But I'm just like, he looks like a turnstile to me. You just said that Malachi might be the worst defensive wing in the draft. Does he compare to Griffin to me? Like to me, Griffin looks like he's worse.
If you want me to talk bad about AJ, you came to the wrong person. He's like top 3 on my board.
Oh, okay.
AJ's my guy.
My bad.
That's my guy. Like AJ missed 2 years of high school ball. COVID year and injury. Went and trained with his dad down in Tampa, and then got hurt coming into the year, like with Duke, and he was back for the beginning of the season, but he came into a weird spot where like everybody had their roles established, so that's why he was like a knockdown shooter playing off ball. But like for him defensively, he missed a lot of developmental time, and like a lot of defense is getting reps, and like because there's only so much you can learn watching film, right? Like you still have to be able to react out on the court when things are happening, like at game speed. And when you miss that much time from high school and then, you hurt yourself in training camp and you got to play catch up, adjusting from like not playing high level ball for years to going straight into the ACC, you're only going to show flashes probably as a defender. Like you're going to be raw. You know what I mean? Like, so to me, AJ, there's a situation where I still see him as being a guy who could be a positive defender down the line, because that dude is a brick wall. Right. He's long as hell. And, I think he was coming back from a knee injury this year. And I think he's coachable. He's willing to learn. He's willing to put effort. I've seen flashes. I saw flashes of him staying in front of quick, shifty guards and just gobbling them up. Just, you can't go anywhere. I saw flashes of him switching on to big men, holding his position in the post, forcing them into like tough 12-foot hook shots. I saw, him reacting quickly and getting all the way across the court. It's not an effort thing with him.
Okay.
He has to learn. It's not him he doesn't want to play.
I can take that.
He has to learn how to play. And there's a difference. Like there are times where Branham just doesn't seem like it's a part of a game that he's interested in playing. Like he'd be off ball. He'll do that little, when you're playing pickup and you've been playing for two hours, right? And you're supposed to dig to the free throw line to help out, and you just do that little reach. Yeah, like it's a little fake reach. Yeah. Like I tried. He does that a little bit too often for me. So like that's the type of stuff that to me separates like why I think AJ has potential as a defender versus Branham, where I think he's got to have a change in mentality. AJ's just got to learn how to play.
All right. I can take that because I see that with Obi even. Like Obi doesn't have the technique, but he's going to try his ass off and get these recovery blocks and do whatever he can, technique batter or whatever, but he's going to get the effort. So I can deal with that. Hey, Roy, anything to add to that? Ryan as well?
Look, man, let me just be honest with you. If you can't play defense, I'm not looking at you. The reason I say that is because y'all gotta be real. You coming to the Knicks plant having to learn how to play defense, you ain't gonna play for like 2 years under Tip. You gotta wait. Yeah. I mean, let's be real. That's gonna happen. So Obi got on the floor because he's learned to play defense in the end of his first year, and this is what Coach Tibbs always said: he has to affect winning. Okay, so you're affecting winning with Thibodeau first on the defensive end. And so unless you're Julius Randle, you can do whatever you want, or if you're Emmanuel Quickly, you can do whatever you want. But other than those two guys, you have to come with some defense. So I am looking, yes, and I agree with Corey. In terms of AJ Griffin has the template, the body, the raw ability to become a really good defender. He does. He's 6'6", 220. He can muscle guys. He's got all of those tools. But if you're talking about the New York Knicks and Tom Thibodeau, yes, he has tools. I'm going to tell you right now, he would spend half this season in the G League. That's what's going to happen. Okay. If you're talking about Branham, I mean, I like his game. He's got a really nice game offensively, but he would never see the court under Thibodeau. He would just be banished to the G League until he learned how to play defense. That's just how this guy goes. So there's none of this, oh yes, we can work with him. No. Thibodeau's going to say to the bench, to the G League, come back to me when you can play defense. He's very, very hard on his rookies. He's very, very hard. So you got to take that into account when we're looking at these guys. He's not going to just let you come in the court and say, okay, I'll work with you and your D. You got so much up. No, if you don't play no defense, you're not playing.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't even mind it considering our roster right now. Like, I like give Grimes and Cam some burn while they develop and then come in next year and then see what we have. I don't even mind that to be honest with you. This is why I don't even press it like that like I would normally would. Like when we drafted Kevin Knox, Ryan, you was with me. Yeah. And they had the and he saw all the motor issues. Me and him we flamed them. We flamed them.
And for good reason. I mean, I was questioning Perry and Fizdale at that point because they were so hyped on him, and I was watching. I was like, I don't see it here, but I was taking it by faith, saying, okay, they'll give him a chance to develop, but I just didn't see it, especially with both the Bridges boys on the board at that time.
Yeah, I was a Miles guy. I was.
I could not believe that they did that, but as far as these kids we're looking at here. This, you got to come again with Griffith. What is it that gets him to the league? What is it that stands out? Says he's an NBA player, or he's going to be. To me, he's 6'6", 220, and he's only 19, 18 years old. To me, you're starting out with a body like that, and he had the athletic ability before the injuries, and I'm going to assume he's going to get him back. So, and then of course he's a tremendous shooter when he has an open shot. So those things will get him to the league. But as far as getting him on the court. I don't see him playing, his first year with Thibodeau. He may be another team, but not with the New York Knicks. So you got, not Obi Toppin, you got Quentin Grimes. I mean, Quentin Grimes was a tremendous defender at Houston, right? He was a tremendous defender at Houston, and he could hit the open jump shot. So for him to do it in New York, I'm not surprised that he's doing that because you kind of knew he was coming in like that. Right. And I expect them to trade Evan Fournier and let Q play that 2 position full time, and you're going to really see something. But if anybody wants time, they got to play some defense. If they want to get on the floor at all, you got to play some defense in New York.
Absolutely. And like I said, I don't mind it being, if it's an effort thing, that's one thing. But he seems like Corey's telling me that it's not an effort thing. It's a a mentality, like a learning thing. So I'll take that. Ryan, you have something to say?
Yeah. As for Branham, like I'm pretty much with Ron that like he wasn't even on my board because when I watched like clips of him and I saw like the defense and just his mentality on defense, I already know that if he came to the Knicks, Clyde would be saying Matador D at least 20 times a game on the course. I was like, I already knew that was like a no-go right there. But with AJ Griffin, like that's why I was kind of high on him because like it's not even just a shooting ability. Like I know people getting him for his defense, but I watched a few Duke games this season, and like Corey said, he showed flashes. Like at times he looked like a capable defender. So to me, I'm like, it's just that he needs a coach to bring it out of him on a consistent basis for him to defend like that all the time. And so I'm like, I think that's fixable. So I mean, the fact that he can shoot the lights out, and on top of that, his defense is just something he needs to work on. He gets the right coaching, he can defend. So to me, that's why I always had AJ Griffin high on my board like that.
Got you. Okay, actually, this is why I like these conversations. Now I'm a little bit higher in my Brian on AJ Griffin than I was last week. That's why I like having these conversations. I'm all right, thank you, Corey. And shout out to Boston Nick. Gunshots for you, Boston Nick. We're gonna save the questions for later, but so stay tuned, Boston Nick. We want to get through his big board first, and then we're gonna head back and we're gonna answer your question about Ryan Collins and Kai Soto. Okay, all right, cool. But Jason M says a $2 super chat as well. So shout out to Jason, one of our regulars. Says a $2 super chat, says draft AJ. You can't pass up talent because of Tibbs. He's like, that's him saying he believes Tibbs is going to be going anyway, so you might as well just get some talent.
No, let me say with AJ and Tibbs has had Adrian Griffin Sr. on his staff for many years.
Oh, connection right there.
Wait a minute.
I promise you, Tibbs knows AJ's game very, very well. I promise you. I bet they, he's known him since he was a little kid, coming to practices in Chicago, probably Minnesota, all that. They work together. They have a very, very close relationship.
Okay, so nepotism might help us out right now with AJ Griffin. All right,
You know, CAA, little
CAA,
nepotism. You know, the whole
exactly, that's
thing,
what-
the
I
full
mean,
circle.
might as well.
Is
Jaden,
AJ with
AJ.
CAA? Is AJ
Exactly.
with
I just said that wrong. Jaden CAA too.
Okay.
We all know Colin Berman. He's the apple of our eye. So hey, I wouldn't mind that either. All right, let's keep it moving. Who's next
All right.
on your board?